Turing was our first generation RTX GPU, combining ray tracing, programmable shading, and AI. The flagship Turing had a ton of processing power, 11 shader teraflops, 34 RT teraflops, and 89 tensor teraflops. Let me show you our new RTX GPU.
Oh, here we
Ampere
go.
is a giant leap in performance.
Here we go.
Ampere does 2 shader calculations per clock versus 1 on Turing.
Wow.
30 shader teraflops compared to 11. Ampere doubles ray triangle intersection throughput. Ampere's RT core delivers 58 RT teraflops compared to Turing's 34.
So that leak was true?
And Ampere's new tensor core automatically identifies and removes less important DNA weights. And the new tensor core hardware processed the sparse network at twice the rate of Turing. 238 tensor flops compared to 89.
Ampere's going to be a ray tracing monster.
NVIDIA's new Ampere GPU, our second generation RTX. 28 billion transistors built on Samsung 8N NVIDIA custom process. All 3 processors double rates over Turing.
So it is Samsung 8 nanometer. Those leaks are right.
It connects to Micron's new G6X, the fastest memories ever made. The days of just relying on transistor performance scaling is over.
No wonder why they're so power hungry.
Incredible 2 times the performance and energy efficiency of Turing.
Yeah, with ray
NVIDIA
tracing.
Will use every engineering lever to squeeze every drop of performance out of the system. From architecture, custom process design, circuit design, logic design.
This is going to be a huge leap. I think
custom SerDes I/O, memory,
this is really going to
power,
push
and thermal
forward
design,
ray tracing.
PCB design, software and algorithms. Thousands of engineers per generation, billions of dollars. Full stack engineering and extreme craftsmanship is the hallmark of our GPUs. Our performance, energy efficiency, and low power are all world class. And real application performance highlights Ampere's new RT core. The more ray tracing is done, the greater the Ampere speedup. Ampere RT core doubles ray intersection processing. Its ray tracing is processed concurrently with shading. And Ampere can render cinematic images with motion blur 8 times faster than Turing.
Holy cow. Well, that's pretty good. I think that diffused illumination is going to make a huge difference, even more than reflections.
Ladies and gentlemen, our new flagship GPU, the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3080, powered by Ampere, second generation RTX architecture.
Series was a great series. Jeez. There's that V-shaped PCB. Smart design here in terms of airflow. There you have it. All the rumors were true. All the leaks. That exact image was on WCCF Tech. There's the
The
power
Nvidia
connector.
RTX 3080. I have one right here. Let me show it to you.
Oh, it's time. It's time, baby. It's time, baby.
It is beautiful. Look at this. The RTX 3080. It is wonderfully crafted. It's going to look beautiful in your PC, and it lights up. Now let me tell you about some of the other exciting technologies inside. Turing used G6, the fastest memories at that time. The industry thought that was the limit. For Ampere, we had to push through that limit. Working with Micron, we designed the world's first memories with PAM4 signaling, pulse amplitude modulation, with 4 voltage levels that encode 2 bits of data each, 0001, 1011. Each voltage step is only 250 millivolts. So in the same period of time, G6X can transmit twice as much data as G6.
His jacket's a little
PAM4
nicer.
is extreme signaling technology, and it's just becoming used in high-speed networking. The Ampere thermal architecture is the first ever flow-through design, working harmoniously with PC chassis cooling system, pulling in cool air from the outside, flowing through the GPU, and pushing hot air straight out the chassis. To allow room for a fan to flow air directly through the module, our engineers architect a super dense PCB design that is 50% smaller than previous, while adding the bigger Ampere GPUs, HDMI 2.1, PCI Express 4.0, and G6X. There are 2 independently controlled fans. The bracket front fan pulls cool air from the bottom and pushes the heated air out through the graphics card brackets. A backside pull-through fan passes cool air over the fins of the heat pipe and directs the hot air to the top and back of the chassis to be exhausted by the system fan.
This
The
is really
3080
smart.
flow-through system is 3 times quieter and keeps the GPU 20 degrees cooler than the Turing design.
You're gonna need it with
It
those
can cool
power
90
numbers.
watts more than Turing. The generational leap is ultimately the most important factor of new GPUs.
Get ready for
A
350
significant
watts.
technology advance is needed to inspire content developers to create the next level of content and for the install base to upgrade. Let's see how the 3080 stacks up to previous generation architectures on the latest graphics intensive games. 3080 is faster than 2080 Ti. 3080 is twice the performance of 2080 at the same price.
Probably,
Ampere is the biggest generational leap we've ever had.
probably with DLSS
Ladies
on
and
or
gentlemen,
something.
Nvidia GeForce RTX 3080, our new flagship GPU, powered by Ampere, our second generation RTX GPU architecture. Incredible amounts of processing in the shader, RT ray tracing core, and
No.
tensor core for processing.
Don't tell me
AI.
this is a flagship because the
10
3090
gigabytes of
exists.
G6X, twice the processing power of 2080.
You better not be asking
and at
over
the same
1,000.
price, starting at $699.
Ooh,
Available September 17th.
ooh,
One of our
$699.
most popular GPUs is the 70 series.
That's actually fair.
970, 1070, 2070 were all hugely popular. You're going to love the
I'm
new
getting one.
RTX 3070.
I'm getting one. 699 is
Faster
actually
than
fair.
the
That's
2080
fair.
Ti, the Turing enthusiast GPU priced at
I mean,
$1,200.
Let's
Ladies
be
and
real.
gentlemen, the new GeForce RTX 3070. Let me show it to
Oh,
you.
no way he's revealing a 3070. Okay, here we
It's a
go.
work of art.
Wow.
20 shader teraflops, 40 RT teraflops.
This is going to be the one to get.
And 163 teraflops tensor core for AI processing. With 8 gigabytes of G6, RTX 3070 is faster than the $1,200 RTX 2080 Ti, starting at $499.
Wow.
Available in October.
That is...
Every
Okay, let me-
generation, we pack in
they're
our best ideas
expensive.
to increase performance.
They're more expensive.
While introducing new features that enhance image
but
quality.
much better.
Every couple of generations, the stars align, as it did with Pascal, and we get a giant generational leap. Pascal was known as the perfect 10. Pascal was a huge success. And
Yeah,
set a
Pascal was
very high bar.
awesome.
It took the,
The
super
price was
family of Turing
better than
to
this in
meaningfully
Pascal,
exceed
too.
Pascal on game performances without ray tracing. With ray tracing turned on, Pascal, using programmable shaders to compute ray triangle intersections, fell far behind Turing's RT core. And Turing with ray tracing on reached the same performance as Pascal with ray tracing off. On a technical basis, this was a huge achievement. The images are far more beautiful,
Thanks,
and
Witchmaster.
reflection and shadow artifacts are gone.
Thanks for the
But gamers
$5.
wanted building the Titan, pushing the GPU to the absolute limit to create the best graphics card of that generation. It was built in limited quantities only through Nvidia. The distribution was limited. The demand surprised us.
Thanks, Trait, for the
Creators were
100.
making 4K movies.
Not sure
rendering
what that
cinematics.
is.
Researchers built workstations for data science and AI.
But thank you.
Bloggers
Thanks
built
a lot.
broadcast workstations. Flight and racing simulation fans built sim rigs. There is clearly a need for a giant GPU that is available all over the world.
Oh, he's gonna
So we made a
3090.
giant Ampere.
Here,
Ladies and
here
gentlemen,
it comes, 3090.
the RTX 3090. Come here.
Oh, he's pulling it out of the oven.
Come here, Papa.
No way.
Alrighty. 3090 is a beast. A ferocious GPU. A BF GPU.
Oh
36
my God.
shader teraflops. 69 RT teraflops.
That thing's like as big as my arm.
Tensor teraflops. And it comes with a massive 24 gigabytes
Christ
of
on a
G6X.
bike.
It comes with a silencer.
$1,500.
A 3-slot dual axle flow-through design. 10 times quieter and keeps the GPU 30 degrees cooler than the Titan RTX design. But there's more. The 3090 is so big that for the very first time, we can play games at 60 frames per second in 8K.
Oh my
This is
God.
insane. Because it's impossible for us to show you what it looks like on the stream, we invited some friends to check it out. Roll the clip.
That is the biggest graphics card I have ever seen in my life. That's even bigger than I was imagining. I mean, we knew it was going to be huge, but
I've never
my
been more excited
God.
to do anything.
Oh!
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
No way.
This is f***ing incredible, dude.
That is so much money, though. Oh my lord.
resolution
Not a
of this
chance
is
am I buying
so-
that.
My God. You can see wear and tear on the treads.
Look at this. Why is it so detailed? All right. Move fast and shoot things.
This is 8K.
That guy
sir.
used
I
to
can
be
see
on
everything.
Attack
Oh,
of the
I need to
Show,
shoot you.
didn't he?
Nope.
Or
Not a whole
am
lot
I
of
thinking
people
of
have
something
seen
else?
something like this.
This is so realistic. I feel like I'm really in battle.
This is insane.
Yeah.
I want to look at the pretty things. There we go. Dude, the ray
The
tracing
3090
insane on
is
this.
gonna
These
heat
are
up
the
your
sizzle
room
reels that you
big
see.
time.
This is basically hacked.
You better have
And
some
then it's like,
AC.
it'll never look like that, but it does. I'm like looking across the vistas, the grand vistas that are happening
Can
right
we
now.
even call this a
Holy
gaming
look
card?
At this. This feels like a Disneyland experience. Oh, it is so smooth. It's butter.
Oh, it's smooth as shit, dude.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I mean, this is game changing. There's no other way to put it. My mind is blown, dude.
Wow.
It's been 20 years since the Nvidia GPU introduced programmable shading. The GPU revolutionized modern computer graphics. Developers jumped on and invented clever algorithms, like shaders that simulate
That thing is
realistic
so
materials,
huge.
or post-processing effects for soft shadows, ambient occlusion, and reflections. Developers pushed the limits of rasterization beyond anyone's expectations.
Not paid actors, yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, NVIDIA GPU processing increased a stunning 100,000-fold. Gaming became a powerful technology driver. Gamers grew to billions, and gaming pushed into all aspects of entertainment and culture. If the last 20 years was amazing, the next 20 will seem nothing short of science fiction. Today's Ampere launch is a giant step into the future. This is our greatest generational leap ever. The second generation Nvidia RTX, fusing programmable shading, ray tracing, and artificial intelligence, gives us photorealistic graphics and the highest frame rates at the same time. Once the holy grail of computer graphics, ray tracing is now the standard. And Ampere is going to bring you joy beyond gaming. NVIDIA Reflex to improve your response time. NVIDIA Broadcast turns any room into a studio. And Omniverse Machinima turns you into an animated filmmaker. We are super pleased with 3070, 3080, and 3090, the first three members of the Ampere generation. You're going to feel a boost like never before. I can't wait to go forward 20 years to see what RTX started. Homes will have holodecks. We will beam ourselves through time and space, traveling at the speed of light, sending photons, not atoms. In this future,
50 on these, I think it makes sense. But to be honest with you, Depending on your system, I'd probably buy an 850 watt for the 3090. Just like me personally, doesn't mean you have to. It's just something I would personally do. It really depends on what's in your system, though. Like if you have a 3700X and you're not overclocking anything, you're not going to have an issue with a 750 watt, especially considering they're actually recommending it. Oh, 1 8-pin for that one. Very nice. Okay. All right, so we got another $5 from Philip Zeiser. Thank you very much for the $5. I'm an idiot with $1,500 in a 3440 by 1440 144 hertz monitor. Should I get a 3090? Depends on if you feel like you need it. I think a 3080 would do that. I mean, when I was using the 2080 Ti, I would struggle to find a game. Maybe when ray tracing becomes more ubiquitous, but like with standard rasterized performance, I would struggle to find a game that wouldn't run 1440p at 144 hertz. So adding another 1440p monitor, yeah, maybe it wouldn't hit 144 hertz then, but then if this card has 8,704 shaders and you can clock it to 2 gigahertz with overclocking, I mean, I don't think you'd even need a 3090. It's up to you, though, to be honest with you. I just don't think it's worth the extra money for like another 20%, which is what you'll probably get. Okay, so we got $5 Canadian from Blue Frisky. Thank you very much. If I have a 1440p 240 hertz display, will a 3080 be enough to completely utilize the monitor, or to 3090 be needed? Really depends on the game. Really, really does. I think a lot of games would run fine on that, as long as your CPU isn't holding you back. But there could be some scenarios where it's not enough. And if you feel like you need the 3090, like if you're a professional gamer or something and you absolutely must have 240 hertz, because it makes a huge difference. It really does. Like, despite the fact that going from 144 to 240 isn't nearly as big of a jump, it could make or break the game. So if you need it, you need it. But again, is 20% really going to be the difference? Maybe not. So I don't know. It's again, it's up to you. I'd be more. I think the 24 gigabytes of VRAM is the seller for that one, and I think it really makes sense if you're buying it for like a professional application. Okay, then we have Igor 5 sends $5. Forgot what type of currency that is again. R. South. Yeah, I believe that's South African. I believe so. On Nvidia's site, there's a new section under Games and Tech 8K HDR. There are a lot of game FPS, and we can extrapolate the performance from that. Under Games and Tech. Okay, I might take a look at that. I want to kind of look around here for a second longer. I could try and get to some people who didn't send some super chats just to see. No, I can't because there's another super chat. All right. Blunt Poppy Supreme. Man. Okay, thank you for the $5. Will a 10700K be good enough for the 3080? I don't see why not. I mean, maybe if you have a PCIe 4 drive, like you could be missing out on some loading times when developers start making use of that thing that NVIDIA is implementing where it bypasses the CPU, like I was saying, going straight to the GPU. Maybe you'll miss out on like 1 or 2% performance, but I don't think it's really going to matter, at least not for a long time. All right. We got another super chat here. Albert Zhang, thank you for the $5. Will 3080 be enough for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 if I want to play 4K ultra settings? Is this the most graphics card consuming game right now? I don't think Microsoft Flight Simulator is particularly GPU bound. It's more of a CPU bound thing, but at the same time, I would say like 10 gigabytes maybe would cause a problem, but I don't think so. I think if you are nervous about the 10 gigabytes, you'd be better off investing yourself in a really high speed kit of 32 gigabyte RAM. I think that would be better than spending that much extra. Okay, then we have a $2 super chat from Palomado. Thank you very much. What CPU would you pair with the 3080? Depends on your budget. Like personally, I would go with the 3900X right now just because it's an awesome CPU. But in reality, if you're just gaming, you don't need a 3900X. Like 3700X is where it's at. That thing is awesome for the price. Got everything you need. Slap it in a B550 or X570, you're good to go. All right, and then we got another $5 super chat from V Tokyo. Thank you very much. What kind of work or profession do you need the full specs of a 3090? I think there's like some animators. Like I don't really do that sort of work, so I'm not like super into that. But like maybe virtualization, and animating, 3D modeling, server type stuff maybe. Like there are a lot of uses for VRAM, that much VRAM, but for gaming, just not right now. I think 16 gigabytes is all you would possibly ever need for gaming right now. Like there's nothing that would even ask for more than that. Okay, so then we got $5 super chat from 3set8. Thank you very much for the $5. Will 3700X bottleneck 3090 with 4000 megahertz, 32 gigabytes RAM? I don't think so. I mean, again, it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're playing with a 1080p 360 hertz monitor, yeah, but so will a 10900K probably, because it'll be faster. The 10900K would definitely be faster, it'd give you more frames, but I'm not sure how relevant that is unless you're like a professional gamer. Unless if you're at 144 hertz or lower, I don't think I would worry too much about it. At least not yet. You can always upgrade to like a 4700X later anyway if you got B450, B550, X570, etc. Okay, vegan side, can you highlight something about Nvidia I/O? Will there be a new motherboard? No, I don't think there will be a new motherboard for it. It's just like some really good software that's been put together that allows you to talk directly from, like this, basically the software right now, it sends it to CPU compresses it, send it to the GPU. Well, if you can just have the CPU hand it to the GPU and not decompress it, and the GPU does the work, yeah, it could cut down on your load times big time. And really, you don't like need any extra hardware for that. You just need a PCIe 4 drive. All right, thank you, JK Teddy 77 for the $5. So, do you think the $999 3080 Ti is inevitable? Come with Big Navi. I'm considering the wait and see. I don't think it's inevitable. I think it's a possibility. I think it makes sense that they would have it, but I'm not going to guarantee it's going to happen, because Big Navi, I mean, they could release Big Navi and it could be like a 60 compute unit card. It could be like not even 80 compute units. And then there's just no way. It's going to be like competing with a overclock 3070 then. So you got to be careful with that stuff. There's no guarantee. But if you want to wait, it might come out. All right, thank you, Momo, for the $5 Canadian. If PCIe 4 required for the 3080 or PCIe 3 will do just fine, do you think there will be any loss in performance on PCIe 3? I think PCIe 3 will do just fine in all but like some professional applications. If you're just gaming, it shouldn't really matter that much. There might be a small performance drop on like the highest end cards. All right, and then there's a couple $2 ones, which I'm a little annoyed that it doesn't put it on the top chat, so I gotta kind of look for them. I guess if it's below $5, it doesn't save them, so hopefully I don't miss any. Jordan Dude OHS says by the way, thank you for the $2. Expected performance difference from the 3080 to 3090. I said this before, I would expect somewhere around 20%, maybe even less. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a huge difference. I think it's the VRAM is what sells it. I think that's the big difference there. Thank you, Adrian, for the $2. i7 5820K, 32 gigabytes of DDR4 at 2400 megahertz and 3090 at 4K. The only thing, that's a pretty good setup actually. The only thing I would change is I would try and overclock that memory maybe. 2400 megahertz is a little slow at this point. But you know what, to be honest with you, I don't think it really matters that much because you said you're playing at 4K, so yeah, that's an awesome setup. I think your memory's fine, honestly. I just didn't notice you had 4K there. I mean, if you were playing at if you're playing at like 144 hertz, then I'd maybe get faster memory or overclock it, but 4K doesn't really matter. Momo Canadian, $5, thank you very much. Is PCIe 4 required for the 3080? Oh, wait, I already got that one. Okay, so thank you, Strive Alpha, for the $5. I have an i9 9900K clocked to 4.7 gigahertz with a 750 watt power supply. Would I need to upgrade my power supply for 3080 or to be fine with the 750? You'll probably be fine. If you're really worried about it, can go buy an 850 if you want. I can't remember for sure what Build Zoid said about this, but I believe once he said he doesn't like 750 watt power supplies. He likes 850 watt power supplies more, and he knows a lot more about the nitty gritty of technology than me. So I guess I'd maybe look into that, but I don't think it matters that much. I think you should be fine. It depends on, if you got like 128 gigs of RAM in there or something maybe, but I don't think it'll matter. 750 should be fine. Okay, let's see if I can get to anyone else here. RTX 3060. You think I could get by with 650 watt with 3080 and 3700X? I think you could get by. If your system's like doesn't have a ton of stuff in it, I don't think it would matter. Especially if you're not overclocking, then you should be fine. But I mean, it's one of those things where like I wouldn't personally do it, but I'm sure you'll be fine. And it really depends on what you have in your system. But again, I think it'd be fine. And then Jordan Dude OHS, thank you for the $2. 4900X and 3080 Ti. It is that benchmarks will decide. Yeah, I don't even need a new CPU, but since I run a tech channel, I'll probably get a 4900X and slap it in there and test them. I think Ryzen 4000 is going to be awesome. But Ryzen 5000 is going to be even cooler because, to be honest with you, PCIe... No, I don't think they'll have PCIe 5, but they almost certainly will have, DDR5 by then, which is going to be, it's going to make DDR4 look stupid. The specs, if you've seen them, man, DDR5 looks awesome. It's going to be like lower latency, much higher bandwidth, a bigger step up than it was from DDR3 to DDR4. I expect it to be really good. All right, John Luke Penny, thank you for the $10 Canadian. Can you justify buying the 3090 for just gaming when running PCIe Gen 3 X16? I don't think, no, because unless you're like a professional gamer, no, because why would you spend $1,500 on a 3090 if you don't even have a PCIe 4 capable? I guess if you have a 10900K, I guess, but I just don't think the 20% is worth it. I don't know. It's a hard question. Only if you're a professional gamer is my stance on that, or you need it for professional applications. I don't think it's a reasonable purchase for regular gaming. It's a very cool card, though. Okay. Thank you, Augustine, for the $2. Will 3080 run 4K 144 hertz? Thoughts on 20 gigabyte 3080? So I think for the most part it'll run 4K 144 hertz. Like all the current games that are out, I think it probably will. For the most part. Not all of them. But games coming out, I don't think so. Not with ray tracing on, that's for sure. All right, and then we got, thank you, Smooth7 for the $2. Do you think 3080 would be a big jump over the 2070 Super? Yeah, it would be an enormous jump. It would, I don't know for sure. I'm going to do like a more concise video on this and try and crunch the numbers and make sure all these numbers are correct. But like, if this really has 5,888 shaders, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being like twice as fast. Oh, Super Chat isn't supported in your country? That's lame. Yeah, I'm trying to get back to people who aren't doing Super Chats, but like it is very difficult. Okay, would a 3070 run games at 165 hertz while streaming with GPU? You said 3080? Hold on. Oh, 3070. I think it depends on your resolution. 1080p, 100%. 1440p, probably, depending on the game. 4K, no. So, it really depends. All right, we got another $5 super chat from Marcus Lamb, trying to figure out if I want... hold on. Yeah, there's a typo there. Trying to figure out if I want 3080 or 70. I have a Loke Ghost S1. It's case. I think you're talking about a case. Not sure how the 3080 Founders Edition would direct heat. Thoughts? So, Yeah, I'm not sure what that case is, but like most cases have an exhaust fan up here, or they have some exhaust on the top. Either way, if you got exhaust on the top or exhaust on the back, which by the way, both of those are good because hot air rises, it'll take the air in through the bottom. Some of it will just go straight out the back because of this card, and the rest of the heat will come up and be sucked out by the top fan out of your case. That's why this design is actually really good. It's much better than the typical dual axial design that Nvidia was doing, because it's just going to be that much more efficient at getting the hot air in and out instead of just shooting it all over the case. Okay, and then let's see. Bandwidth for 3080, 760 gigabytes per second. Because 320-bit bus, 19 gigabits per second. Air or water cooling with these cards. I really want to water cool one of these things because I think it's going to be like, it could make a big difference with overclocking. But that depends on the price, because a lot of these water cooled cards are like more than $100 extra. But that being said, like I don't want to do a custom loop. I think it's too much money and time. I just think it's not worth it unless you're like super enthusiast about your computer. But if there's like someone selling an $800 3080 that's water cooled, it's a hybrid cooler, I might do that, because that sounds like a really awesome card. Not spending more than $850 ever though, ever. Unless we get to a point where the US dollar is worth like nothing. Okay, do you think the 3000 super cards will come with TSMC's 7nm node? No. I think TSMC is out of the question for these cards. And that's partially why they draw a lot of power, I think, is because 8nm Samsung is just not as good as TSMC 7nm. But at the same time, looking at these shader counts, like, dude, that probably would draw a lot of power even on TSMC 7nm. I would expect maybe their next generation to be TSMC 7nm. This is surprising to me, though, because I haven't seen them make anything on Samsung for a while. I think they really screwed up when they were basically saying, give us a better price, TSMC will go to Samsung, and then TSMC is like, well, we're selling everything we can get, so go pound sand. So now they're stuck with Samsung. All right, Nick Schaefer, thank you for of what I would recommend. But you probably could get by with a 550. I wouldn't do it. All right. Thank you, Mick Cuban, for the 2 Peruvian souls. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for letting me know what that is. Thanks for your videos. Yeah, thanks for watching them. Definitely wouldn't be making them if no one was watching them. All right, thank you, Jordan Dude OHS. Your chair's squeaking. I thought it was me. Oh, yeah. I need to get like some. Well, first of all, I really, it's not my budget to buy a new chair. Maybe one of these days, but I'm buying a 3080, so I guess that comes first. But you know what? Slap some WD-40 on that thing. It should be fine. I'll get some WD-40. But yeah, that squeaking is. I gotta take care of that. Okay, let's see if I can get colors. You probably could. If you were gonna sell it, I wouldn't wait too much longer. That's what I think. I think the prime time to sell it was like a week before this event, maybe. All right, do we have any more super chats? Nope. Okay. Is the fan design going to be an issue for vertical mounts? Here's my thoughts on vertical mounts. I don't recall for sure, but I believe there's a Gamers Nexus video which they found out some of those flex cables that allow you to do vertical mount can actually reduce your performance ever so slightly. And when you're paying that much for a graphics card and you're overclocking to get 1% here, 3% there, I just wouldn't do it. I don't think it's a good idea to vertically mount a GPU, period, no matter what the design is. Because, I mean, maybe some designs, but I think like they're built to be put this way. And it might not look the prettiest that way, but that's how it's the most effective. So in my opinion, I would just avoid vertical mounting GPUs if you can at all. It would definitely be worse with this graphics card because you would be shooting hot air at your motherboard. So I would definitely not do that with the Founders Edition at all. All right, and like another thing is like people think hot motherboard isn't a big issue, but I mean you got your VRMs there, you got your M.2 drives, you got your RAM there. It can really cause some issues. So you got to keep all your stuff in your system cool. People underestimate that. All right, so Felix, thank you for the $5. Running an NZXT H1 build, 3800X, 32 gigs, 3600 RAM, 120 millimeter AIO, 4K monitor. Will the included 650 watt power supply run at 3080? If not, plan on overclocking. Again, it's one of those where I'm sure it will. I need to look more into before I produce a whole video and give like my clean thoughts on this. What it really means, you know, because like should we be counting these as 2 or not? Because that might be just some really juicy NVIDIA marketing there. 3070 and 3080. Will the 850 watt power supply be enough for them too, or maybe overkill? I think an 850 watt it'll mean it definitely be enough for 3070. 3080, I'm sure it will too. Yeah, I don't think you'll have any problem with that. That's what I was gonna do, but my 850 watt power supply just didn't have enough plugs, so I swapped out for 1000 watt just because I got it super cheap. So, all right, this will probably be the last one I read here. So Meek Verde, thank you for the $5. RTX 30s. He's probably saying 3070 with Ryzen 5 1600. Hey, if you're playing at 4K, you're probably fine. But like personally, I wouldn't make that combo. Like I would slot in a 3600. But okay, that's the last one I'm doing here. Thank you everyone for watching. There should be a video up later today with like all the information in a very concise way, so it's more interesting. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will